Hi there, name's David Loera. Welcome to my EDTC 527 Multiple Intelligences Unit Plan. Being a special education teacher, I'm working off of annual goals. I'll go over the first four of them. A student will read first grade level text orally with 97% accuracy with appropriate rate and expression on successive reading in 4 or 5 trials as measured by student work samples and teacher charted records. This is primarily a fluency goal. The second one, the student will ask and or answer such questions as who, what, where, when, why, and how to demonstrate understanding of key details in a text as measured with 90% accuracy in 4 or 5 trials by student work samples, teacher charted records. It's obviously a comprehension goal. Third one is student will know the spelling sound correspondences for common consonant digraphs, TH, CH, SH, and WH. Letter sound correspondence is important. Especially with digraphs, students, especially emergent readers, they don't know the sounds that CH might make, ch. They'll try and sound out letter by letter, k, h, and obviously it's not going to work. So they have to be taught those specific sounds for those specific digraphs. When presented, number 4, student will correctly spell the first 100 high frequency or sight words from the fry or sit high frequency word list in unedited classroom assignments or assessments. Just helps get them started with their fluency to learn sight words. They're important. They're called high frequency for a reason, and students really do need to learn them in order to get going. So what I did to appeal for the multiple intelligences, I chose some actually I chose quite a few specific programs that I like. I use primarily websites, a few apps, but primarily I stick to websites. They're accessible from just about anywhere. It's a little bit more convenient. I find myself now and then having to push into different classrooms where my students may not have their tablets with them. But we do have laptops in all the rooms, so that's why I stick with. That's primarily why I stick with websites. Some of the technology tools you're going to need: the Classroom Elmo and Screen. I rely heavily on my Elmo. I love that thing. iPads, laptop, overhead projector, video projector. I try to keep the tools that we need simple. Makes it a little bit easier. You can move around a little bit more. Like I said, me personally, I do end up in different classrooms quite a bit when I'm pushing in. So I like to know that regardless of what classroom I'm going into, I'm going to have the tools I need. Some of the websites I use, Mayan, it's a reading library, online reading library. Read Naturally for Fluency. Mr. Thorne does phonics. That's a lot of letter sound correspondence in there. Education.com, just a lot of activities I like to get to. Kahoot, very engaging, really appeals to interpersonal and kinesthetic learners because although it's just a displayed quiz, I did actually find a way to use it as a Foursquare kind of game. But regardless, they start moving around and it gives them a chance to just, that wiggle room they sometimes need, which a lot of my students do. Google Classroom is how I deliver most of my stuff. Quizlet, TouchCast, just for the visuals. They like creating little videos. I let them take pictures and embed them into worksheets so that they can write based on what they're looking at. Zuno, that's where I make most of my web quests. Web quests I really like. They appeal to just about all the different intelligences because you can create just about anything with them. One of the lessons I use here is a comprehension lesson towards the end of week 1, and it's a scavenger hunt. It would appeal to my logical, naturalist, and the kinesthetic learners. For digraphs, I use this song I found on, what's it called again? Mrs. Jones' Room. It's called the Digraph Song. Very engaging. Students like it. They sing along, and it gets them in the mood to learn it. So that appeals to my. It's a kind of like a cartoon song that they sing along with, so it appeals to the visuals and the musicals. Some other stuff. Giggle poetry again for the musicals. Also, the way I worked out the lesson to working in groups, it would appeal to the interpersonals and even the intrapersonals to a certain extent, especially the comprehension stuff I used with giggle poetry. mystorybook.com. teacherscholastic.com. Mrs. Jones already mentioned Canva and WordWall. Oh, Logic of English for the logicals. They obviously like that one. There's a lot of different websites, and like I said, I adapted some of the stuff to appeal to my. I did all of the 8 intelligences like a Kahoot rather than just a displayed quiz. I made it into a kind of a foursquare using the room. Kahoot displays answers not necessarily by number but by shape, colored shape in different corner. Instead of clicking on their answer, I display it and they just move to the corner of the answer that they've chosen, and we just move along like that. It works out really good and it appeals to all the students. Interpersonal, kinesthetic, even the musical when they start dancing around with that game. It's funny. What I really enjoyed about this project is that I got a chance to really organize my lessons in a way that I can build on later on. Appealing to all the different intelligences helped me differentiate a lot. It really, how can I say, spread me out to different into areas that I usually don't go, and really created a good foundation I could build on. Some of the like the digraphs, I can actually build on that, move from digraphs into syllables, which would be the next step that I generally follow. The fluency was the different programs, different texts, appealing to different intelligences, really moved right into comprehension very well. So the whole unit I really enjoyed. It's primarily foundational because that's where most of my students are, and it gives me a chance to get them started in the direction I want and then build upon that. And the whole multiple intelligences, it really did do me a lot of good. Hope you enjoy. Thank you very much.